So I play a lot of Animal Crossing. And when I mean a lot of Animal Crossing, I mean a lot of Animal Crossing. So when I heard that Crossing Minute was going to be doing a 30-day DIY island challenge and then also doing a challenge in his Discord for DIY only builds, I became very inspired. I was thinking about my own island and I had a big space on it and I wasn't sure what to do with it. I'll go ahead and show you a little bit of the area now and see if you can guess what it might be inspired by. um, it looks kind of like we got like a little maze going on. And I'm particularly excited about a certain game, although you probably already know what it is because it's probably the title of the video. But yes, I am going to be doing a DIY only build inspired by the forest maze in Super Mario RPG. So it took a little bit of planning. I needed to go ahead and craft out everything in advance because I didn't want it to hinder the creative process of having to like stop and go build and then do it and then stop and go build again and then I have to go collect materials. Like I didn't want to have to do that. So I don't know if you haven't played the game, it might look a little weird. I'll make sure that there's some pictures on screen here about what I'm kind of aiming for. But yeah, so I am going to let you guys chill and listen to some Super Mario RPG music, and then I'll pipe up with some thoughts when I have them about the different times in the build. Oh, here I'm just showing that I have a lot of different items in preparation, and seriously, the mushroom DIYs are so perfect for this. It started off a little tough because I didn't really know where to start with the build. I just knew that I wanted to make it super foresty and cluttered. And I wanted to try and emulate the same, like, I don't know, confusion, but also admire how pretty the forest is that you feel when you're playing through the game the first time. It just feels so like mystical, and I loved running around and collecting all of the little mushrooms that were all over the ground. It was one of my favorite places to go as an item hoarder, you know? But it took a little while to put all the pathing down, but I really like this path. This is something that I've been using throughout my entire island, and I think it works really well for this build too. So I had realized that about a couple days after I had started doing all of this building, because it all wasn't done in a day, that's for sure, I put down a super mushroom there because I was like, oh, it's Mario, I should do a mushroom. But I realized later that that's obviously not a DIY, and so I do pick up the super mushrooms that I put down and end up replacing them with some other items, like the mushroom, or the mush low stool, I think is what it's called. So yeah, like I stuck one on that table, but I go back and get it, don't worry. Now this area, I was struggling a lot with what to put here, and I think I also put down a super mushroom here as well, but again, I go back and get it, it's fine. But it's such a kind of awkward space, especially when some items take up so much room. Like, I was kind of wanting to put a decayed tree there, but that you need like I don't even know how many squares of space. It feels like 9, but I don't maybe it's like 6. I have no idea. Or maybe it's just 4. Either way, it's too big and I can't put enough stuff around it. So I was struggling and I revisit the area later again too. Okay, so here I just wanted to like take a few minutes and kind of overlook because in order for the contest you have to like take only one picture. So I wanted to like look over the whole thing, see how it was gonna fit in frame. Um, and you can see I do a little trick where I go into the handheld mode and move the camera all the way up. That's because then when you're in the overview, you can move the camera up just a little bit more, and then that gets you just a little bit more in frame. So with such a big build, I think it's important to do. But I thought it was looking okay at this point, but definitely needed a lot more mushrooms and a lot more clutter. I took a little break and obviously uh, ended up going to like the next day and started decorating at a later time. So I'm sorry for the change in lighting. But here I am revisiting that tough area. And then I also realized I wanted the bushes to be a little bit more broken up because in the game, like the map is all surrounded by different bushes and like trees and stuff. And so I thought adding the little baby trees in the bushes kind of helped make it a little bit more interesting to look at. And so I was getting pretty happy with it at this point. I also obviously included some hydrangeas because those are my favorite bushes, and that's also the name of my island. So this next area is probably one of my favorite parts in it because it's specifically based off of the map where you meet Geno, or I keep getting told that I'm saying his name wrong, but that's how I've said it since I was like a little kid and first played the game. I know it's supposed to be Gino. I'm sorry. I can't seem to reverse it in my brain. So anyway, this is where you meet him. This is where you see the little arrow dudes. This is where the star shows up. So yes, I went through, I used a little online tool to take the pixel art and turn it into custom designs so that it could really bring the area to life. So I have Bowyer and the arrows and then Geno Gino. And so I just really like the detail that it adds to the build. So then I had to switch to another day because I wanted a break and I was getting tired of decorating in like the sunset. I also realized I ran out of little mushroom stools and I really like the details that those add. It also, it looks like I added some stuff off stream, or not off stream, but off recording, just because sometimes I think a little better then. So here's a little bit of a walkthrough. But then I wanted to work on the other entrance, which is right behind my resident services, which I like. It's kind of tucked away in there. I do end up later adding some other trees and stuff just to kind of hide it a little bit more. But I'm getting close to being done with this area, just trying to figure out how to add a little bit more clutter. I also wanted to add a star because you do get a star here, but I realized that wasn't the right color. So I looked up which color it was supposed to be and it's actually green, not blue. So I went and customized that and changed it. I also added a few more trees on the left here just to make it feel a little bit more foresty. But I think the hedges do a good job of kind of like encasing the whole maze. And so here's a little bit more of an overview. You can also see on the left and right of the map, when I go into the camera mode and kind of get that other angle, you can see that I don't know if it's my Switch that's struggling or if it's just the game and how it's made, but there's black bars on either side of the build. And I just don't know if it can't load that far, but it was kind of freaky looking. I did also notice a decent amount of lag that was getting added to my game as I put down more and more of the path, which I wasn't super pleased with, but you know, what can you do? It's just how it is when the hardware is pretty old. So I wanted to also decorate this little area because I noticed that it was kind of showing up in my pictures. I didn't think it was gonna show up too much, but once I got the overview camera angle, I saw that it was kind of sticking out like a little bit of a sore thumb there, so wanted to kind of decorate it a little bit to match the rest of the area. And so here I am now checking out the whole thing, looking over the whole thing, trying to figure out what's gonna fit best in the picture. And I decided that this area was feeling a little bit too cluttered. I know I said I wanted it to be cluttered, but it was like, I don't know, there was something that was distracting too much from like the formation of like the stumps and then like the mushrooms. I don't know. And like the pixel, I wanted it to be more focused on the pixel art that was on the ground. So I went and cleaned up that area. And then here I realized that the area kind of behind the maze was showing up a little bit, and so I wanted to go fill it in with some bushes and trees and hedges and all that fun stuff. And I also needed to move Abel Sisters, so that was fun. And so here I'm taking one last look at the build, see if there's any other last minute changes that I want to make. But I also decided I didn't really like this weather, so I went ahead and fixed the little things and then skipped ahead to another day so that I could get some clearer weather. And now it's time for the final tour. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching or listening and hanging out. I hope you enjoyed this different kind of video. I know I'd normally do streams, but I thought it might be kind of fun to try something different. So anyway, I hope you guys have a good day and I will see you in the next one. Bye.